Hey, my name's Marcus Ansems. I'm a Master of Wine, and today I thought we might try what might be the best value Nebbiolo I can buy. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm already a big Italian wine fan, so there might be a bit of bias there. I love Nebbiolo. I love Barolo. I love Barbaresco. I think those wines are delicious. They age beautifully, and they're really some of the best wines in the world. Now, my problem is I live in Canada, and wines here from that part of the world tend to be quite expensive once they go through our various liquor boards and tax systems. The wines that you can end up buying tend to really burn a bit of a hole in your pocket. So in my love of a good deal, I went around and tried to find some Nebbiolo wines, which I thought actually might be good to buy and good to drink. So what I came up with was this. This is the Travellini Gattinara from the 2018 vintage. Now, Gattinara is an interesting appellation, and this family, the Travellini family, are actually the largest landholders, vineyard holders in this region. It's further north than Barolo and Barbaresco, and historically it was actually quite famous in the 50s. It probably had a better reputation than a lot of the traditional Piemonte regions. But for whatever reason, it went out of favour. And I think that just the fact that it's slightly cooler meant that there was a bit more vintage variation. But in trying it over the last 10 years, I would say, I don't know if it's something to do with climate change or whether it's maybe they're getting better at running their vineyards or they're really honing their winemaking process. Last few vintages, maybe apart from 2017, which was a bit of a rough vintage, I think, throughout Piedmont, they've been really good. And this example in particular is excellent. So let's have a try. You'll notice that there's only half a bottle of this. I may have partaken in this with my wife last evening, so that's why we're slightly down on volume. Nebbiolo is a thin-skinned variety. It's known for having high levels of alcohol, high levels of tannin, and high levels of acidity. It ages particularly well, and in its youth, it can actually be quite tannic and a little bit unapproachable. So that's something that producers of Nebbiolo throughout the world are constantly trying to come to terms with. It's a very late ripening variety, so you need only the best sites to ripen it, and as a result, it really hasn't found a home outside of Piedmont that successfully. There's a few good examples, but nothing to the extent of its homeland. So this wine always has a slightly palish colour. It's one of those lighter varieties. So if you get a wine like this in a blind tasting, varieties that are typically lighter in colour include things like Grenache or Garnacha, Pinot Noir, Nebbiolo. They're pretty well the three main ones that you'll see, but there are some lighter skinned, particularly Italian varieties actually, and a few different Italian white French varieties as well. But they're really the three that you should think about in a blind tasting if they come up with this sort of colour. So what's this smell like? So initially there's a real kind of potpourri character, a licorice and potpourri. The variety is known as tar and roses. Tends to be the terms that people use to describe its aromas. This particular one is showing quite a lot of spice as well. The producer actually ages these in barriques, so there is some notable barrel character coming through. The wine's full-bodied. It's got a lot of richness. It's remarkably soft, actually. That's one of the points I would make about it, is that the tannins are quite resolved given its age. It's only 4 years old, a little over 4 years old. So that's something to take note of. It's drinking very well in its youth. So even though I think this wine's got a lot of potential to age, it's one of those Nebbiolos that you can literally go out and buy off the shelf and happily drink. The characters in the mouth are of that kind of that licorice, dark berried, blackberry and plums, and a real kind of earthiness, a slight smokiness to the profile as well. It's got good length. The acidity really holds it together. Alcohol typically tends to be a little bit higher, and in this case we are looking at only around 13.5 actually, which is quite moderate for Nebbiolo from this area. But in terms of quality, this is a great wine, and I think I purchased it for around $40 plus tax here. I've seen it as low as about 35 in Ontario. I think on Vivino it's averaging around 30 to 35 US. This is not the Reserva version, but this is excellent, and for those of you who are interested, I'd give it 91 points. If you like these videos, if you want me to review a few more things, or if you've got particular questions, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you want me to cover.